Good morning, everybody. This is Biz Chicks TV. Obviously, it's live. We're laughing because I was a little off this morning. This is a place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Wednesday, and you know, on Wednesday, we get to hear all the way from Toronto, Canada, with Coach Caren. We're so excited to have her in the house. We want to give a shout out to my partner, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. Jill, it's so good to see you in the house. How you doing?
Hi, Jill.
And we are going to be talking about your money and your mind. But I got to get these shots in position. So I'm moving you over, Coach.
Okay.
So that we can feature you when you're speaking to us. How you doing, Cecilia? Cecilia's in the house.
Cecilia.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Cecilia says, woohoo, money. Yes, dear. That's why we are entrepreneurs. That's why we are business people. We're in here because we need to know more about what's going on with our money, our profits, our earnings, and all of the wonderful things that contribute to us having a better life. So without further ado, I want to introduce to some, present to others, Coach Caren Fern, all the way from the Money Mindset Academy. How you doing this morning, Coach?
I am well. My allergies are trying to get the best of me, but I would not let it. Let me tell you, of all the years, I was fine. It suddenly come back with a vengeance because I kept it at bay for so long. So here we go.
It's that time of year, huh?
Yeah, we're talking money all this month, how we earn it, what we do with it, and all that stuff. But before we get into that, since we're all here, let's wish Carolina a happy birthday.
Oh,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
I received that. Thank you so much. Jerry says, good morning, Coach. Good morning, blessings. How you doing this morning, Jerry? Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's a blessing. My grandmother used to say it's a blessing to be able. It's a blessing to be in the house. So I'm excited about that. Okay. And I'm excited to hear about our, thank you, fellow Scorpio. Happy birthday. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Cecilia.
Yeah, she is. She is Cecilia.
So we are excited, and we want to encourage you to share this program out. There are other people who need to know these things, and we hope that you would be generous by giving them an opportunity to come on in and learn some things and learn from you as well, because when you participate in the conversation, we all learn more.
Oh, for sure.
Because we all bring many, many years of experience.
Exactly.
Hi, Donna's in here from Green Earth Travel.
Hey, I haven't seen you in a while, girl. How you doing, lady?
Thank you, Donna. Thank you. It's so nice to hear from people.
Right? It's always such a nice thing. It's just really just give your time to just yes.
So Donna, let us know what we can do to help you out with your business. She was in the travel industry, and so guys, any suggestions you can give or whatever to help her generate revenue during this season, we would really appreciate it if you put it in the chat. Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking, Caren.
We're good.
Party started.
Yes. So all this month, all October, we talk about the different types of income. And the first week, we covered what was earned by doing a job. And there is no shame in having a job. Matter of fact, that's how everybody started building their wealth. Unless you were born into money, you started off having a job. All right. And we talked about that. Then we talked about income by owning your business, side hustle, whatever that might be. And then last week we talked about semi passive income, where we're earning an income by property, teaching, lending, or anything like that sort of thing. This week, we're going to cover earned income by interest. And that is usually because, you got stocks and bonds, or you're getting loyalty from a book you might have written a while back. Um, and all this really it called for long-term planning for you to be here, and understanding that it takes money to grow this one. Every other income we cover this month, we talked about how you earn it, but this one here, you have to have some kind of money to put in there for it to grow, right? For it to become that stuff. And even though you hear I talk about book and I talk about the interest, you have to have money to put in the stock to make money. And if you think you didn't have money to write a book, let me explain how you had money to write a book. Because it takes time to write a book, which means the money you might have been earning from while you're working, you have to give up that time to write the book to eventually earn the money. Sometimes people forget all the different things that happen along the way before that money start coming in. Okay. And I'll give you a little tiny story. I used to attend a lot of seminar about investment property at that time. And there was this gentleman there that had written a book, and he said to me, he said, kind of written the book. I spent so much time writing this book, and then nobody bought the book from me, right? And he said, given I didn't, she wasn't sure how to sell the book and whatever, but I had good stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and our company picked up the book for him. So it wasn't self-published; it was published. Everything was looking great and stuff. And he said, if I sell $100 worth of the book, I sell a lot. And he said, for 6 years, I would be talking to my agent. I tell the publisher, I said, what's going on? Nobody's buying this book. And I heard I should change the cover. I should do this or whatever. And he said, he decided to pray about it. And he said, he felt like he wasn't supposed to touch the book and do anything about the book, just leave it as is. And so he said, the amount of things that happened to him during that time, he lost his job, got another job, lost his job, house burned down, you name it, has happened to him and the family. And when he felt like he couldn't do anything more, and he said, God, I surrender, I give you it all. This is it. I guess, I get what you're telling me. I'm going back to work. This is not the way I'm going to make a living and all this sort of stuff. And he said, because the house burned, of course, insurance came in and they had him stay at a hotel for a week. And then they had to extend it for another week before they could find him someplace to be. And he said he was in there for a week and 2 days. He said, no lie. And he got a call that he got a check that was forwarded to him in the mail. And he realized a couple of books were sold. So he said, things are looking up, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, within a month of me surrendering, he said, Caren, within a month of me surrendering, I sold over 100 books. And I was thinking, what happened?
What's the difference?
What's the difference? He understood how you had to work a lot. And I think some people understand. Some people don't do it. But some people haven't gotten it yet. That everything we have, God has given it to you. He's giving you the skills so that you could produce, so you can have. What we have to do is to do our part and let him do his part. When we're trying to control and do all the parts, it doesn't work.
It's too much. It's just too much. And then we get stuck on the part that we don't know, and we let it discourage us from doing the part that we do know.
Yes, exactly. So I just wanted to bring that to the forefront before I dive any further in. We really have to let go. So if you are buying stocks and you did your homework and you buy the stocks that you're going to go buy, or you have a broker to look after for you, but you're checking in to make sure things are well. Once you know you do your part, do not spend time worrying and fretting about don't do it. If you do it, you're going to sell yourself crazy. Even if you were a stockbroker, you want to not do that. And I've known a few of them who understand this path versus the ones who get themselves so carried away that they think they're in control of how the stocks run. Understand? So you really got to let go.
Well, Cecilia says, look here. Cecilia says, amen. I surrender to God. One of the comments up here was from, remember I told Donna if she needs help to put what she needed in the chat. She says she's looking to teaching a master class and would love technical help. And Jill says she would love that too. And so I put Biz Chick's phone number in there. If you need help, give us a call after the show because I'm only and we can help you with that. We want the same thing for you that God wants for you, which is that you prosper and be in health as your soul prospers. So thank you for surrendering, Cecilia. Yeah, so once he surrendered, right?
Yeah. He said,
Turned around.
it just turned around. And we were at this conference together. It was a 3-day conference. And to finish it up is he was still in the hotel while he was at a conference, but we were laughing and talking because he had the opportunity to come to the conference. And then he had the opportunity, of course, he meets a lot of us who were in the group together. And then we were able to win prizes, and he won one of the big prizes. And we were just, because we in the group together, we knew his story, we were just like cheering him on, and we're like, God, this is what God's been doing. And so we had 5 people in the group, and they noticed every morning when we come in, we would pray together around our table in our group. And we look around, and next thing you know, more people want to join in our group. They're like, something is happening over here.
Celebrating over there. Yes.
We're like, no, we can't, get it too wide. And this guy's like, no, you can't keep it to yourself. You got to share.
Okay.
So the group ended up big, not in the sense of how the organizer wanted it. We still stayed individually, but when we'd go out for lunch, we end up like having nearly half of the lunchroom because everybody keeps joining in. I think, and my mom always said, she says, Caren, your ministry is just talking to people. You don't have to set up anything. You just come. She always said this. And I feel like we bring a lot of people within those 3 days in either they might have known God, but left him aside, but brought him back into their lives, or, refresh that idea, or the ones who this is not their thing, deciding that this is something they might want to look into, because people will just be praising, we're praying, we're even worship, and understanding that this was a partnership hand in hand, that if we're going to flip houses, or if you're going to repair houses and rent it out, it wasn't going to be this thing that you just do because you could do it. You do it and understand that you're in partnership with him, and then you'll be guided and you'll know the things that is right and what you shouldn't do. Now, this doesn't take away from the work you got to put in, but you would understand that. And when you're worried, you know where to go. So that was the thing that we were covering. So we had our own little masterclass, if you will, on the side versus the seminar, because we people who want to progress and understand these things want to come together. If they don't, if they want to learn, they'll pull themselves. So that's my little tidbit for the top there in terms of when I talk about books and when I talk about the stock market or whatever you're using, or owning a property for investment. You really want to pay attention to all the things you can do and set aside that breathing time and that time where you're allowing God to do what he's going to do, and not try to get and step into his path. Clear the way. Let him do. That's what he is going to do for you.
That last sentence again, not try to do what?
I said not to step into his path, not to step into the things that he...
get out the way.
Thank you.
Get out the way and let God do what he does.
Yes. Okay. Always and always.
I'm like, okay, let me see if I understand this. Get out the way. I can write that down on my notes.
Get out the way.
Get out the way and I always say that God be God all by himself.
All by himself. And sometimes I have to remind me too. I'm like, Caren, this is not of you. It is not of you. You did all you can do. Go sit down. And you just let it be, okay? But don't forget, you do all you can do. This is not a way for stepping away and not doing. It's just that you're doing your part. God is doing his part because you surrendered.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Number 2, this is a long-term stuff. We're going for the long haul. It's not this short-term stuff. When you're investing, when you're getting earned interest, it's not overnight. Compound interest takes a year, a full-blown year. All right? Let's talk about compound interest. It's a full-blown year. We used to have something, Guyana, called, the name went on that. I can't remember. It might come back to me later. But where we put our money and you had to leave it there for 5 years. If you didn't touch it for 5 years, whatever interest they...
Like a CD?
Same kind of thing. We have different names right here in North America. but we had it, and a lot of people would put into it, and being there, and whatever is the guarantee amount, you get it at the end of the 5 year, and then you could put back interest and make it go again. It's good for if you were younger. When you get older, that's not a place to put your money because it wouldn't go as fast. You got to go figure out other places, and you got to research to know this stuff. But that's really good for kids right up until so you have the return. I always think when I research it, I started mine when I was 10, and so when I was 15, and then again when I was 20. So just keep compounding on itself. Really good. That sort of thing. Here you could do different things, in North America. But you want to research, you want to find out, you want to pray about it, you want to know that you can do this stuff. And you want to spend the time, probably, when I said this is scare people, but maybe a whole year, just understanding, and that don't mean doing nothing, but meaning understanding your temperature, how much money I'm not afraid to lose, how much.
So today, I think I missed the topic. So today's topic is about earnings through investing. Okay.
I call it interest, but it is investing to get the interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Now I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Because we covered all the rest already. So that's what we
work, earnings through business, and now we're talking about earnings through investing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But because I had the book in it, I wanted to make sure that people understand that it's interest that you're really getting on what you had in there before, right? It's whatever is sitting there that's giving you interest. And the way we get interest is because somebody is using your money. Somebody's using your money to do something. That's the only way you get interest.
Okay. Yes.
In everything we do, right? Somebody's using. If it's property, somebody's getting residency and they're paying for that space, for that shelter, right? If we're getting it, we've put in the book work already. We spend a lot of money up front writing the book. Sometimes people don't realize that people spend money writing a book with all the investment that they had to do, and then now they're reaping the reward years later, and it doesn't go anywhere. Just keep, thing in itself. So you want to spend time gauging your temperature. You need to know how much money you can lose. This is important, just like failure. Failure in business is a must. You need to fail. You need to fail. You need to start a business, do poorly in it, and then you need to sit down and write out all the reasons why you fail. You don't need to go away and be sad and don't do it again. You need to fail. Failure is part of life. This is why when children learn to walk, they fall down, bruise up their knee. You learn to ride a bicycle, you fall over and over. I was telling my mom the story. Only 2 days ago, I said, I learned to ride a bicycle when I was 14. And everybody discouraged me because they said to me, Karen, you're older. There's no point. Why you're wasting time learning to ride? Because I bruised up my knees and my elbows. But when my cousins were learning to ride, I was sick. I was in a hospital for a year. I didn't have the opportunity to learn to ride because who knows if I was going to live. So therefore, I could not learn to ride. So when I do everything that I could do in life, I know what it feels like to feel like you're dying several times in my life. So for me, everything, I'm extra passionate about anything that I do because I'm like, God kept me all the while when I could not have been here. So for me, I knew that, okay, I'm not a little kid anymore. I'm 14. So of course I'm going to fall off the bike. I'm going to hurt, but I'm going to do it over and over again. And so you have to think about that. If you're going to start a business and you fail miserably, but write down all the areas that you think that you could have done better in, but you didn't, or ask and find out from God why you didn't do well here, or what lesson was he teaching you in the specific thing, why it didn't go through. And it simply could be because right now you can only handle $5,000, $1,000. It could be that you don't know what to do if you had $20,000, even though you think you do. You might not know how to handle it. So he's giving you these lessons so you can understand how to handle it. But Karen, why would he take away my money if he's giving me a lesson on handling money? Why would he take it away? He takes it away because he see you're going to spend it on things that makes no sense, and mainly it's going to harm you eventually. That's why he's taking it away from you. You got to pay attention to that. This is a hard lesson. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it isn't. It is a hard lesson, but it is factual. When you build your own stuff from scratch, and you guys in here have business, so you know how it feels, you know the things you go through, and you understand that at some point when you were having the money, if you look back and you're honest with yourself, there's times where I have big money in my hand and I went real stupid with that. And then I go through a drought and I said, oh, I see what you did, Karen. So here's what you're feeling right now. So then
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do that again because I don't like feeling that way. So you really have to understand it. And as I said before, understanding has to take time. This rolls itself right back to why we need to budget, why we need to know about our money so that we understand. Could you imagine you got a lump sum of money from something? I mean, a time I did, I think it was CDs I did
Mm-hmm.
for all my kids. And when it come to maturity, I give it to them because I wanted to see what they were going to do.
Really?
Uh, and I watched each kid to see what they were going to do. And I asked them, I said, so what do you do? And each kid did something differently. And they're like, but mom, you give it to us. Why you care what you do? I said. And then my daughter was like, oh crap. You're watching to see what we're gonna do. Yeah. Because I want to know if I want to entrust you with some other things. Because I want to see what you do when the money came to you unexpectedly in a lump sum. You didn't know, you didn't expect it. But you either went on a spending spree, you didn't put any anywhere else. What do you use? Yours. I set it up for you. So here you go.
So my question to you, Coach, is where can we get financial intelligence? I know Francine and I teach a smart money class on Tuesday evenings that's biblically based. If you guys would like to know about that, I can put that in the chat.
Yes.
But for those people who are looking for resources on how to invest, because a lot of us are going to be coming into inheritances, um, what do you call it, retirement funds are maturing. There are different things going on. What do you suggest?
I would say YouTube is such a good source because
I think it is. I
yeah,
think
it's really such a good base source. Remember, and they'll tell you, I've never seen anybody on YouTube who said, this is my word. They always say, here's what I do and go research it.
yeah.
Here's what you could do and go research it. I like our rich journey because they tell you about they always talk about reading, going back and reading old letters of people who I guess they like what's this guy name? Oh, you guys over in the States there. Why can't I remember his
Dave
name?
Ramsey.
Huh?
Dave Ramsey.
No, not Dave
Um,
Ramsey. I personally don't like Dave Ramsey. I mean, he's got some good things in there, but I don't like his style mainly.
I don't either. I think he's a little harsh. He's a
Yeah,
little
so
harsh.
he's not my cup of tea. But
But,
they talk about Warren Buffett and reading his letters for the
oh,
year
okay.
before. So go back and read that. And I like these nation people, and they talk a lot about insurance. So that's important for you. Want to go read up on, listen to them. Those are people I like. I like this African guy in England. My rich penny or my rich pocket. I'll get the stuff for you guys.
Mhm.
And
I
he like I
like
said,
His and Her Money. Do you
I
watch
like
that?
I like his and her money too. And I like
Mhm.
him, I guess, because he's an immigrant like me and came without nothing and just start everything from scratch and just work his way up. I feel like I always teach like if people are in kindergarten because for myself, because I feel like that's where everybody needs to start if you haven't started yet. And
Yeah.
it's never too late to start. So the reason I tell people every single time that they have to start with a budget it's because if you don't have anything budgeted, you don't know where no money go. Budget is not to confine you; it's to free you. It helps you
It's
get
the
cash.
happiness plan, people.
It gives you cash flow. It lets you see if you're living above your expenses and
Hmm.
see if you need to knock that down. It lets you see also where what age you're at and how much you need to save for retirement. So you'll know all these things. You know what you're living off of, so you know what
Hmm.
you need later. It allows you to decide like I need clothes 4 times a year and not every month. Do I need a shoes? It just pushes you to listen to yourself and understand I have this job, it's not paying me well. Do I need to go back to school? Do I need a side
Hmm.
hustle? Is this going to make sense for me? Because I need to park my money. And when I start parking my money, again, because I talked before about knowing your temperature and where you can stand and where you can't stand, you know
Uh-huh.
where to put your money. Because even if you bought stocks, and I just holding on to that one, and everything went kaput, but you know that things turn around eventually, could the money come back in time? Right? Let's say you weren't working. Could the money come back in time? You need to know those things. You need to
Mm.
understand those things. You need to research and get that stuff. I personally know somebody who lost a bunch of money. I can't remember what year it was. Here's his 20. So it had to be when, yeah, 2000, 1999 to 2000. And I was saying to the person, I said, hold tight, don't move it. but they were so scared, and that they knew their temperature that they just grab and run. It wasn't the time to grab and run, because within 2 years the money started coming back around, but they didn't have the stamina to wait. So they kind of sour on that note, so they still talk about it, and I'm like,
yeah, we don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
right.
Okay, so you're saying that we need to figure out investments that will bring us income?
Yes, you do. You do. You do eventually. I mean, you work for money. And I didn't know this when I was very young, okay? But I figured it out. You work for money to this point in your life, and then you need to let money start back working back for you. Not everybody that says I got 7 streams of income is actually physically working. When I first read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I'm like, some of the things he's done, but I'm like, I do that. So I'll do that. But I realized that people didn't do that. I understand that. You got to get it. Like, I come from a place where bank accounts in my family, most of them never had. My grandma said, we don't have bank accounts. So, of course, I went to open my bank account because I don't know who she's talking about. I'm opening a bank account. But, I had the persistency. And I watch and I see it. And, as my sisters, I would tell them, I said, you need a bank account. And it took them a while because they didn't grasp the concepts. I had to come from them from different angles to say, you need a bank account. You need to put the money away. When it's so readily next to you, you spend it. And it looks like you're not making enough money to live off of. When you do, I had to fight with them to get a budget also. This happens, but I was willing to push through for it because I understand. One of the things I told my sisters, I said, could you imagine if I was the only rich one in the family, then everything that everybody needs, they come to me for. And this is what's been happening. So we need to figure out how everybody could have so that there's not this pressure on this one person, like all of us can have. Yeah. And all of us can feel good when we meet, and it's not about the money or I have to send you anything or give you anything. I could, but I don't have to. But if I'm in a position where I feel I have to, then, I'd rather teach you how versus give you a fish. I want to teach you how to fish. I've got all this knowledge. Let me help you.
Now, I see a lot of families talking about starting family banks.
Yes.
So, you may want to go to YouTube and see what they're saying about that right now. Yes. It seems to be a trend.
Yes. And if you're going to do that, please, I don't care if it's your kid, make them sign something. Have it witnessed. I know the same thing. My kids, when they used to go to school and wouldn't do their homework, I was a stickler for a contract. If you don't get your homework done in such and such a time, myself, them, and the teacher, if the teacher called me to school, we're signing a contract. Mom is coming home, writing up a contract, print it out, we're signing a contract. And here's the penalty for when you don't follow through. So the same goes for money. Up to this day, my kids coming after me money, they know the rule. I don't let you, but you ain't gonna pay me, and you know how much. So it just keeps them on doing what they have to do. They don't have to come to me. I'm really deferring them so that they can be responsible people. That's why I'm doing it, not because I don't want to get it. So you have to, if you haven't, you start wherever you're at. Even if it feels like it's late and it feels like, oh my God, I didn't get to do this. Don't worry. That's where you start. And when you believe that a father is there helping you along, he's going to get you to where you need to be. Maybe that's the only place you can get to right now, but that's okay because it's going to make you feel better. Oftentimes, when all your debts are gone and you are debt free, you go a little crazy initially, okay? But this feeling, you've been paying somebody for years, every month, every week, and all of a sudden you get to pay that back to yourself. That in itself is an investment back into you, and then you think about it.
That is the pay raise when you no longer have to give it to somebody else. And see, I think we need to change the language about what's going on here, really, in terms of getting rid of debt. Is it getting rid of debt, or is it giving yourself a pay raise?
Oh, I like it. And it really is. And it really is. It really is. I come from a place where I had no debt and then I got debt. So mine was like a shocker to the system because I never liked debt. But I didn't like that because I experienced what it did to people. As I said before, a few minutes, I'll tell you this little piece. My grandma would we didn't have credit card, but we'd get the grocery from the shop. Mm-hmm. And then when she get paid, we'll pay him back. And then we listen and we repeat. I'm like, this is like forever.
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle and it's vicious. And he loves it. And he would add more things to the list. And I went to him one day and I paid it off. And then when we got the grocery, and he said, "So are we putting it on the top?" I said, "No, we're paying for it." And he went like double take. I'm like, "Yeah, we're paying for it." You know what I realized, Tara?
What's that?
That because I didn't know anything about. I understand interest one way when we were getting. I never understood it the other way. So although I always say we never had credit card, they took an interest on it, but they never told the people.
Oh my goodness.
Because the bill when I paid versus the bill when we didn't pay. Because unfortunately for him, I love math. So of course I put them together. And I went back to him. I said, "Mr. Jordan, what's going on here?"
Why is it more than the goods that we received? And he explained to you he was actually charging interest. Oh my goodness.
I went to my grandmother and I told her, and she says, "Oh, no, no, no." I said, "Oh, yes, yes, yes. Here's the difference. Here is the difference." And here's the difference over time because he started off, let's say, with 5% interest. Let's just make up a number. And by the time I'm telling you, within that year, we were all the way to about 8 or 9%. And he went up without saying a word because she never knew. And I'm telling you this, Charlie, this man's business used to be packed. So you imagine how much hundreds of people he was doing this to. But those older people didn't know and didn't understand he was doing this.
And they felt that it was a favor because they could get the stuff in advance.
Thank you.
And they never had to worry about running out because
Yes.
he was going to give them credit.
Yes.
But what they were really doing was spending their future.
Yes. And that's what we do with credit cards. We think we're so lucky that somebody would give us a credit card because our credit is so good. That's why we get a credit card. It's because we, no, they're not doing you any favor. But I understand that's what was fed, so that's what you believe. But when you understand how money works, I also like to do the cash. That's why I love to put people on cash diets because I said, when you're feeling the money and it's coming from you quickly, you understand what you've been doing either with your debit card or your credit card. This is what you do with it, but you don't notice because it's a card.
Exactly. You do not feel the transaction.
The interest is going to somebody else. We talk about interest today. That interest, that you're paying is
I just thought of a chapter. Someone's interested in your interest.
Lita. All right. We're having fun.
Yes. Someone's interested in your interest. So we say all of this to say that when you're in business, or if you are, and even if you're not in business, everybody. Let's put it this way: everybody needs to pay attention to their money.
They do,
and we need to know that other people are paying attention to our money if we're not, because they're interested in the interest, just like we should be. I think what I learned today, Coach, was that I need to pay attention to who gets the interest in my life. Is it me? Is it we? Or is it them? Does that make sense?
Makes lots of sense. When stars and all those people, public figures would talk about they lose all their money, and I remember saying, "How could you lose their money?" Because in my head, I couldn't comprehend. But as I keep learning and I keep growing, I understand that you get so excited, you get so overwhelmed. You got a lot of money in front of you, and you're thinking it's never going to end. And one of the biggest things I learned in Art America is that people do not understand how much money they actually earn. They will tell you what they think they earn versus what they actually earn. And every time I tell somebody you could live on 50% of what you have, they will argue with me. And I'm going to stand here and tell you, you will earn.
Think about it, Caren. We lived on 50% of what we earned when we started out. Because we didn't start out at the top level. We worked our way up, but we learned to live at that level, and people coming in at that level are living at that level.
Every time, when we talk about interest right here, every time you get a raise, whatever job you have, that should not be part of your budget. That should not, totally should be going into your investment. That should be going into the plan because you had a goal that you're going to buy a door this year. Let's say all you're going to buy was one door this year. Then everything that you get is towards buying that door. What that helps you do, though, here's the good part about it. What it helps you do, if that was your goal to buy a house, you would be planning about the house. So everything you're doing for that whole year is researching how to buy a house, understanding closing, understanding lawyers. So you're spending so much time looking after that that you don't have time to go find that fancy dress and do all that stuff because you're busy putting in the time where it's needed, so that eventually you can reach that thing if the door was where you're going to buy this year. Once you understand the whole process, and don't try rushing it. I know you could buy a house in 3 months. I know all of this, but you want to spend that year understanding, gauging your temperature money, understanding what's going to happen, understanding the cash flow. If you're going to rent it out, would you be able to, are you in a space where you can rent the top and the bottom floor? My dad always used to say, don't buy a house when you can't have rental in it. I don't care. Like if you can't rent out part of that house, do not buy the house because you can't afford a house because that's your first house. And your first house, you really cannot afford it. You just think you can afford it. So make sure you got people. So when we bought our first house, we had a tenant right away. We bought the house, we closed the house with the tenant and the first month rent. My husband was so mad.
Well, now Cecilia says here's something she needs to do. She says, yes, need to cook at home. Restaurants getting my money. That's true. And then Jerry says, yes, that was a true statement that you made about the interest. But here's the thing, Cecilia. Why not ask God for more? You can eat out. Just ask him for more. Ask him to show you how to increase your income. Okay. Or if you choose to right now change and eat at home, that's okay too. But God has more.
He does.
You know what I'm saying?
He does. But the thing is, Terry, he doesn't give it to you if you don't set up certain protocols. That's the thing.
You are not a good steward.
It just don't happen. It's like somebody getting a whole bunch of clothes, but just keep dumping it. Over time, it doesn't look like anything bad. But then they lose their job. They can't afford the clothes anymore. There's different things that start compiling itself on it because he's at the point, he's like, I've given you, and now I'm teaching you something. And if you don't pay attention, I've met people who keep losing their jobs, good people, but I know it's something within that they're not doing and looking after that is causing this. It's not the supervisor, it's not the company don't want anybody anymore. There's two things that happen. It's either them doing something or God is ready to shift them to this other place. And he's been warning them. And he don't move you from a job if he's not putting you somewhere else. I don't care how bleak it looked to you. Anytime he allows you to lose a job, if you weren't listening to the lessons he was teaching you, he's going to make you be without money. Can I tell you this? You will be without money. He's going to he gives us abundance, but he's going to make you because he wants you to pay attention. He's pulling you back. He's saying,
he tells us we need a plan. He says, no man considers starting a house without considering the cost. Okay, that's one thing. But I just wanted to say, you don't have to have a cutback spirit all the time.
No.
Because
but it's necessary for some people. So it's like this give and take. It's never just the broad thing, right? You don't have to not get a coffee at Starbucks if that's what you like. But you can't go to Starbucks 7 days a week and just buy coffee if it's not in the thing that
your plan. If it's not in your plan and you haven't figured out how to pay for it. Yes.
Yeah, you work your way to that, but you can't just go do it. You can, but then you'll see the repetition.
You'll see the results. Yes.
All right, guys.
Okay, so let's
over my time a little bit today. I got all excited.
That's okay because when we talk about money, I think it's important to have clarity.
Yes.
So let's review, Coach. Tell us.
Okay.
Start us at the top and take us through real quick.
Yeah. So today we covered we talked about earned income all month, and today we covered how to do by getting interest, and we talked about loyalty from books. We talk about interest from whatever investments you have, so that's your stream of income that's bringing you in, right? Because when you get to a certain age, you retire. This was nicely for the income, and to understand your temperature, meaning understanding how you feel when you lose money, because this is an important part of investment. And sometimes we keep We push that at the back, and we need to put at the forefront. How do you feel so that you can understand your risk and handle your risk management? Because it could be handled, okay? Handle your risk management. And also that it takes time to build. Everything takes time to build. If you come in and you do something within a year, it's because you have the experience and you have learned before. So now it seems to people that it only took you 2 months, 3 weeks, but you'd spend the time before. Otherwise, everything takes time to learn, process, and be there. Okay? And be there and get, people said, well, how come they don't just forget about my credit? The reason they keep going, not because only the insurance going to pay. Okay, they want their money.
Everybody's interested in your interest.
Yes. Good one, Terry. Oh, this money chats has been good. I think we can do some word over.
I enjoyed it.
If you guys are loving it and you want me to do more money talks, we're going to take it over. We got some juicy topics for November.
Yes. I think it's really important that we understand more about money, and particularly a lot of us who are starting businesses later in life, because when we were in the workplace and they talked to us about IRAs and Roths, and nobody explained it in a language that we could understand, and so a lot of us may be actually playing catch up. So we need to, but now that we have great tools like YouTube and Facebook and different places where we can find trusted sources that will explain it to us in English, we should be able to do better.
Yes.
And Celia says, look, I love this topic. Thank you so much, Coach.
You're welcome.
Yes. So if you like more topics like this, let us know and we will, bring you that. Thank you again, Coach. I really enjoyed it today because I've been doing a lot of research about investing.
Right.
So it's really touched the nerve for me. And guys, we hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did. And if you need to contact Coach Caren, you can find her at Profits in
Daily. Yes.
That banner up so they can see, because sometimes I don't necessarily enunciate things the way I should. So it is Profits in Daily. And I'm looking down my list of banners here. Come on. Where is it? I had it up at the beginning of the show. Remember? Okay. You know what? Here it is. I was about to type it again.
Yeah, of course. That's what
Profits in Daily.
Daily, yes.
On Facebook. And here's another banner. Here it is. Coach Caren with a C. Profits in Daily. Her on Facebook. You can find her on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, everywhere. Profits in Daily. Yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah, Profits in
Daily.
Yeah.
So we are looking forward to you contacting her. Remember, guys, that if you're looking to join Biz Chicks or you have friends that you would like to recommend Biz Chicks to, you can text Biz to 33777. We'd love for you to be a part of our community. Come on in. The water's fine. We love it when you participate in the conversation. And then we put the phone number for Biz Chicks in the chat. So if you're looking for help, I know that a couple of you said you needed help putting together an online course. We'd love to help you with that. Just give us a call. And remember to go
to the front of your own line.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.